For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description.
John Shepard, Melanie Kinnaman, Tiffany Helm, Deborah Voorhees, Carol Locatell, Ron Sloan, Tom Morga, and John Hock. Wow, that was a... Come on, you guys. Any seat, choose anyone you want. We're going to be passing mics around up here, so...
This isn't musical chairs.
No. We're gonna do the hokey pokey, but it's not musical chairs.
Look who's bookmarking this.
Oh, somebody brought props. All right. Easy, Ethel. Easy, Ethel. Junior, can you control your mom, please? Oh, you lost your head. What are you talking about? All right, well, this is a very unique film in the Friday the 13th franchise. Couple of points of note. This was the first film where Jason is referred to as Jason Voorhees. This is the first film where Jason Voorhees' name is revealed or used for the killer. There's a little bit of irony to that point because we actually have a Voorhees in the cast. Second reason why that's ironic, and in this day and age, you have to say this, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen this movie by now, you're in the wrong room. But Jason Voorhees was not the person behind the mask.
What? You're kidding!
Really? I'm sorry, I cannot read with my glasses on. Getting old sucks. But this is a copycat murder film, really. You know, and really, in all honesty, this was a lot like the first Friday the 13th. You've got a parent who lost their child, a group of kids at camp watched them die, and now I'm going to revenge on those mangy kids. You know, so I'm sure maybe that was, who knows, but it really did mimic the first Friday the 13th. Ron.
Yeah. But which one are you talking to?
Whichever one is going to give the most intelligent answer. Now, it's been said that, and I'm pointing at you because I've read kind of just a direct quote from you, that it's been said that many of the cast members had no idea that they were working on a Friday the 13th franchise film when you were cast.
No, that's true. When I auditioned and read the script, it was called Repetition. And it definitely was a repetition. No, we got on the set, and the first day of shooting, I think everyone will remember, we're all sitting around talking to each other like, hey, how do you die? That was the question. I don't know. You know, I get stuck in an outhouse and speared. Miguel Nunez. So we're all sitting there, and Tom comes walking out, full wardrobe, and he looks at every single one of us with his machete in hand, and we're like, oh my God, the mask. Oh my God, we're in a Friday the 13th. Hey, that was awesome. I mean, it was great to work, but to be in a Friday franchise, oh my God. And no idea. I mean, no idea. So excited. And it's really been a blessing because it's a good friendship. It's like we saw each other yesterday. It's very cool.
Well, I got to give you props specifically. I told you this earlier. If you guys remember his character in the film, I very specifically, go back and watch Part 5 and watch his character. And tell me if I'm wrong, if National Lampoon didn't steal Cousin Eddie from the Vacation movies, from this guy right here. He was the original Cousin Eddie, okay? He nailed it.
Why did they cast me?
You want to deal with your mother.
All right, well, speaking of mom, hi, Carol. I understand that you lost something kind of special to you on part 5. A gift from someone from a previous film you worked on, Sharky's
Oh,
Machine.
that was.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you want to tell the story about the wig?
Okay. So, there are a lot of you in here who probably don't know who Burt Reynolds was. But, for those of you who do, and for those of you who don't, he was a pretty big movie star, hunky guy, a really nice guy who did a lot of movies. And I won't get into how I met him, I auditioned. Yeah, that's what happened. So I get cast in one of his films called Sharky's Machine. I'm gonna play a hooker. So I go, actually I'll make this brief. I go to Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard to check out hookers, because what do I know? And it was a good education. So I get to the set in Atlanta, and the wardrobe people have a wig for me. Fabulous wig, tons of curls, looking very hooky. And
Is that a word?
yeah,
Hooky,
exactly.
hooky.
And I'm dressed in hooky clothes, and I have to walk to the set. You didn't think this was going to go on. So I walk to the set, and 5 cars stop and park. So I thought, I'm out of town. So anyway, that's the wig. So I get an audition for repetition, right? And I think, this wig's perfect, except I gotta put it all up on my head, because it looked too hokey. Right? So, sure enough, and Danny, rest his soul, who's not here, I'm sorry, he's not director, had me come back like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times to audition for this role. Each time with the wig. Finally, okay, you can play the part. So we go, and I'm there like the first day, and the wig and the scary thing, oh my God, we're in for a movie. And at the end of the shoot, the hairdresser says, well, you know, I've got to keep the wig until they finish shooting the entire show. So I said, okay. And then I never saw her again. So, yeah. But then, wait, she didn't mean to keep it. She was very nice. She heard years later the story. And she got back to me, I forget how. And she was really nice. And she said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I totally missed it. But I don't have to. That's it. The worst.
Fantastic. All right, New Beginning has a total body count of 22. Now that's pretty high. Only Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell gets up to those numbers. You guys are the first to break 20 in the body count. And when it comes to slashers, that's what we're talking about. Now, here's the thing. That 22 includes dreams and hallucinations. The first 2 kills were you're dreaming in the bus, right? And then the last one, this is the argument, did Pam actually die from the hallucination knife through the gut? So you feel that you survived, in his hallucination, you feel that you survived that?
Yes, I survived it. I'm the only living final girl, still, because there was no part after. I was supposed to do part 6, and that, you all know that story. So, yes, I'm still alive.
Well, you are still dead. Thank God. Well, let me ask you this then. Do you think, okay, so the first two guys who get killed, they're digging up Jason. Jason comes up, and ironically, he was buried with his machete, and he was buried with that knife ice pick thing. And so, if it's a hallucination kill, does it count in the body count? What do you guys think? Yes. I'm like, yes!
It's a movie. Every
Kill counts. Thank you. Every kill counts.
Don't piss him off.
Those were my two kills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which ones were yours?
No, I didn't break it.
Well done, sir. You're very good at what you do. Tiffany, you were, please, I don't want this question to come off as rude, but you, in the universe of Friday the 13th, your kill was like a machete in the gut. Really? Don't I get something really cool? But I found out that your kill was, the machete was supposed to go a little further south.
Yeah, that's a really rude question.
I asked you ahead of time if I could ask you that question.
I'm totally messing with you. Yeah, it was, and there's, in the book that goes around, there's a picture of me. It was a Polaroid from the makeup chair. Well, I mean, the character was originally written as this Pat Benatar hard body type, because that was as out there as Hollywood could go as far as alternative looking. So when I walked in, it was a little bit different. And I mean, I was cast obviously, and the Pat Benatar hard body thing didn't really work for me. I was supposed to be in those awful like 80s unitard things.
Hey, I like that stuff.
Okay.
I still wear them.
Alrighty then. Wouldn't look good on me, we'll just say that.
I'm wearing one tomorrow.
He's wearing one now.
But yeah, I was supposed to be doing little scissors with my legs in the room, and he was going to come in and just basically cut me up the middle. So makeup fixed me up, so that's what it looked like, and that's the Polaroid that's in the book. And when the producers saw it, they're like, no, it's not going to get past the ratings board, and we're going to have to rewrite it. So it was a very fast rewrite, and again, they were like, well, what can you be doing in your room? I'm like, I wasn't exercising. I mean, you don't look at me in there. I didn't look like I was really into exercising. But I was very into dancing and stuff. So we talked about doing dancing in my room. And I tried, because I'm trying to do what I think, Hollywood wants. I'm just trying to do this weird, like, and where are my friends who, yeah, did the 80s dance with me? Hi guys. There's, okay. So this is kind of what I was trying to do, or this swaying thing. And it really wasn't working for me. And I was like, that's not what I do with the clubs that I go to. And this is actually what I do. And it was just, I took a chance and showed it to the director, and they loved it. And that's what we went with, and I was able to, I had a whole collection of songs on my Walkman at the time, and that Pseudo Echo song was something that was obscure enough that they wouldn't have a hard time getting a release on it. So that's what they used. It was one of those perfect magic moments where it was like the words to the song and the dance, and it all just kind of went together. But the kill itself was pretty low tech. Because it was last minute. As I recall, we were going into some serious overtime that night. It was a late night. So yeah, that's the story of the kill.
Okay. Well, the director, Danny Steinman, had previously been known for a slightly more adult fare, and I guess there were several parts of the film that kind of had to be cleaned up a little bit. Deborah, including your scene in the woods, that apparently was originally quite a long
That was actually
scene.
complete fiction.
That's complete fiction.
Complete fiction, 100%, yeah.
Set the story
There was
straight.
a whole lot of kissing going on because I had a sore mouth from it, but that's it. It was we just saw do what we shot.
Set the record straight.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I think I don't know. There's some weird things, like they said that, somebody was saying that the shears went all the way through my eyes and that they had this, I would have had to have had a head made. That never happened. We did a cut. And then he goes down, you see him come up and you see the blood, and then you see me turned over. I don't know, I think it's just that the other makes for more exciting information, but if they ran that scene any longer, you guys would have been bored. Really bored.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I have to ask though, what guy in the beginning of that sort of thing says, I gotta go clean up? Could there have been a better excuse? I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta go get a condom?
Are you a clean freak or something?
But he's
It's a
gonna
really
go,
strange thing.
he's gonna go wash the stream. If you're a clean freak, you're not gonna wash the stream. That one just never quite got me.
Yeah. No, they needed something a little bit better to get him to leave.
Was that
besides the fact that the bastard didn't hear me when I screamed, come on, please. He should have been right there helping.
Right.
But yeah.
But regardless, I think a lot of us would agree that scene between you two, the garden shears and the belt around the eyes, one of the most iconic collection of kills in the franchise, hands down. So, very well done, man. John Shepard, Tommy Jarvis. What was it about Tommy Jarvis, man? Other than Jason Voorhees, this was sort of another character that the Friday the 13th franchise created. In fact, you may not know this. This news just kind of came out, but the Friday the 13th video game. Anybody been playing this? Have you guys got an email about the free mod that's coming out? The Tommy Jarvis tapes. Are you familiar with this?
It's already out.
It is out now. Okay, so if you're familiar with the game, you're in the environment. You're running through the woods. There are apparently these cassette tapes that you find, and you can play them. And they're more backstory about Tommy Jarvis and how he all fits within this world of Jason Voorhees. So, what was it about this Tommy Jarvis character that you think was just so endearing within the franchise?
Well, I think Corey set the sort of bar because he's such a great actor. He was so good in 4, and I had not seen 4 when I got cast in this because I for some reason when I was an actor, I think I've told some of you this before. I had come out from Chicago saying I'm not going to do slasher pictures and I'm not going to do cheesy religious films. And then when I got repetition, I'm like, this is really good. Oh my gosh, I'm Boo Radley in the To Kill a Mockingbird. I have no lines, but I'm like Robert Duvall. This is incredible. And then after 3 or 4 or 5 auditions that Danny had us do, you found out it was Friday the 13th, and I was like, not knowing the franchise, not having seen it, I was like, oh, slasher picture. I said I wouldn't do those. It's really good. It's such a great role. I got to go see 4. So I went to Paramount, and I don't know if you knew this, they set up a screening for me because there was no DVD, or there's no, there weren't DVDs back then. There was no VHS of it. So I went and I sat, and I thought I'll go in character, and I'll sit in the second row. And after about 10 minutes watching a Friday the 13th Part 4 on the big screen with the music and the sound in a big dark cavernous theater in character, I totally freaked out and went and sat in the light and scared. But he set the bar so high and he was so good that I really wanted to take it seriously. So a buddy of mine challenged me, why don't you go work at a mental institution, at a state hospital, and see what it's really like. And if you're going to do this role, take it really seriously and be Boo Radley. And that was kind of fun because it was totally different from my personality. But really was a great role to get into, and Danny really let me kind of run with it.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, I know this is well-known information, but again, if you're a fan of the film, this man spoke only 24 words in the entire film. So to emote so much and create such an arc of a character in 24 words, well done. Well done. Yeah.
So 3 of those were Jason. Jason.
All right, well, speaking of Jason, Tom and John, we have 2 legends of stunt work on the stage right now. By the way, if you didn't know, together, but I had notes here. I really tried to do this professionally. I tried to Phil Donahue this thing, the notes falling apart. But I mean, from Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and you, sir, have worn basically every mask of every 80s
Well,
killer.
a few, not all.
Darn near, pretty close. But,
Still wearing one.
Oh, I busted.
but let me ask you a question. In all of these roles that you played, what is it that you have to do differently to be Jason Voorhees? And this is an iconic character. And again, like I said, this movie is really about a copycat killer. Really. And if you're going to be a copycat killer, you're going to copycat Jason Voorhees. Man, you're swinging for the fences on that one. But you guys really brought that to life. So, is there something you've got to do to don the hockey mask to get into a different spot to play Jason Voorhees versus other maybe characters as a stuntman?
Well, I've been asked that question before, and I usually say that, like Johnny and I, we're stuntmen, and we've been stuntmen for years. And what is a job for a stuntman? It's to double an actor. So we have to be that actor, and we do study an actor and the way he moves and stuff and try to copy him. Because when you're making a movie and you're doubling somebody, they have to have enough film so they can cut it here and here, and it'll all go together. So you got to play that role, even if they don't use it all. You kind of learn to be something like that guy. And what do? You do action. You're there to do some kind of fight, fall, or etc. stunt. What is Jason? He doesn't have dialogue. He's really just, he's copying, he's doubling somebody, and he does action. So for us, that's what we do. And it wasn't like we had to study. I didn't. Johnny didn't. I called Johnny and said, listen, I'm going to be gone. Can you help me out? Yeah, he came in and did it. We didn't. It's just that stuntmen do that. That's what we do anyway, so it worked.
Yeah, but you took me outside and made sure I walked, just like you.
Well, yeah, we said,
Over
this is
and
it.
over
This is what I
again.
did. You'll do that. He said, yeah. So,
What was
it
wrong
wasn't.
with my walk?
But I don't think we approached it like an actor as much as, John or someone else might have. We approach it like a stuntman. You're going to double somebody, and you're going to look like this, and we're going to do action. And if you wanted something scary for a stuntman, give him dialogue. We didn't have it, so it wasn't that scary.
Yeah, I doubled Gregory back on Old Gringo. He was way up there in age, and I had to wear a mask to double him, looked just like him. But because he was older and the way he walked, I had to intimidate his walk completely because he couldn't do a whole lot of stuff, especially when we were out around the trains and the trains were coming in, horses running everywhere. And he even came up to me after seeing the dailies and said I did a really good job walking like him, but he didn't realize he walked that bad.
Yeah, I doubled Walter Matthau and had to be like that. And, you do it. That's what you do.
So, Friday the 13th was well-established franchise by the time you guys did Part 5. Obviously, it's Part 5, it's a well-established franchise. And the one thing I will say that is definitely cool about Part 5 is, you start to get to further on down, and they had to get really creative on how does he come back to life? Come on. But I love the fact that you didn't even try to do that in Part 5. The whole story was not about that, He wasn't brought back to life. And not only that, you're trying to figure out the whole time while you're watching it, you're thinking that maybe you're the guy in the mask, and who else could be possibly in the mask? How much of that was really clear when you read the script? You said you read the script, was fantastic. I mean, was that all really laid out throughout that, it's going to try to make it look maybe like I'm the killer, or maybe it looks somebody else is the killer, we don't really know it's a whodunit story. How much of that was really clear in first read of the script?
Well, the biggest missing thing in the first read of the script was the ending. They hadn't, I don't know if you guys had this experience. Did you get the whole script, by the way? Sides. So the ending was not written yet. They didn't know, they knew they wanted Tommy to put the mask on, but they didn't know how to get it there. So it wasn't super clear. And because my character was hallucinating so much, and so much was going on in my mind, it didn't matter whether it was an imposter Jason or a real Jason. To me, everything was real. The kills at the beginning were real, and the fact that I might be doing it was real. And that had to be part of Tommy's questioning was that, am I losing my mind? I doing this? So that was kind of how I approached it as an actor too, is I really didn't want to, I didn't get involved in anybody else's storyline. I was there and people were messing with me. And even my mind was messing with me. So that's how, I didn't have to have it cleared up. It was better that I didn't know. And they didn't know. And that's how everybody related to each other, was sort of like, is this kid nuts? Which was great, because I thought that came across on screen. I was really happy with, nobody was joking around and like, you're just in that character the whole time. They were like, left me alone. It was great. It really helped the performance.
Yeah, fantastic. So you said when you found out there was a Friday the 13th franchise film, you're like, oh man, it's slasher. Did any of you, when you realized it was a Friday the 13th franchise, were you like, yes, I love those movies? No?
I was told from the beginning it was a Friday the 13th, but I didn't know what that meant. So ignorance is bliss. I didn't know. So like John, they let me see part 4 when I got cast, because I had no idea what this meant. So part 4 was great. It was an interesting way to see it in the theater by yourself. But like I said, it was wasted on me because I knew from the beginning, my second audition, they told me. But again, it went, I didn't know what that meant. So I wish I had known that I would have met all of you from doing that, because it was one of the greatest joys, I have to say, from doing that film was all of this. Everybody, all the friends I've made, everybody's come out to meet us. And it's just been a shock, but a joy, really, that you've all cared all these years. So before I forget, because I keep forgetting, Shavar Ross called me last night and said to say hello to everybody. He wished he could be here, but he couldn't. So.
By the way, because I didn't know what Friday was, I just had I'm not going to do slasher pictures. I'm the next Marlon Brando. Now that I was in it, it was like, and now that you see what it's become and to really realize it's like, wow, you were in an iconic movie that in the 80s are so hot now with, it's just amazing. None of us at the time realized it was just, this is a job, we're in the barn, it's raining all night, it's dark, it's cold, and we gotta get through this. But now you look back and go, wow, that was really interesting.
To that question, I've done a lot of stage work. So when I didn't know what Friday the 13th was either. I hadn't seen it. So I went to see screening, and I couldn't believe what I was. They killed me. Here we go. And I left, and I thought, what did I do? What did I do? And I'm like, so snooty. I'm so like, I'm going to, same thing. I was going to be the female
Marlena.
Thank you. So then, like a few years later, when it started coming out in, call those things tapes, and I looked at it again, and I thought, this is actually kind of fun. Interesting. I love the relationship with Junior and Ethel, and I started to enjoy the film, and as I kind of had the same reaction that a lot of people did when it came out. They didn't like it because it didn't go with the other ones. But as I looked at it, I became more kind of entranced with it and with everybody in it. And I am so thrilled now, after these many years, that I did it. We had great fun shooting it. I was a snoot when I saw it, the first time, and I grew up, and I'm really glad I did it, and I love meeting people who enjoy it, and I can't tell you how delightful it is for people to tell me that I'm funny, that they just crack up laughing at the two of us, and I'm like, yes. So.
Carol and Ron, in my opinion, are two of the best actors, especially in this film. So they brought so much to the film.
Well, in all honesty, you had to balance off the heavy weight of this guy. I mean, if you guys weren't in this, nobody would have been able to make it through the film. Oh my God, I can't even watch this. So you guys had to be there to cleanse the palate every now and then, and you cleansed it well. So yeah. So anyway, let's just kind of expand this out. I'm really kind of going to get your thoughts on the whole sort of slasher genre. I mean, you guys are well entrenched, a definite member of the slasher genre. A lot of people claim that the 80s, maybe the late 70s, kind of started that whole thing. But let's go back to the Grand Guignol Theater in Paris. I mean, morbid, grotesque performances have been part of storytelling since the beginning of storytelling, right? So what is it about these stories of complete, not only psychological, but visual morbidity and grotesqueness that not only, I mean, we're drawn to it, but it seems to be an important part of the way that we tell stories. I mean, and look at some of the most highbrow things, even, forgive me, but even so some of the greatest stories taken from some of the greatest books ever written, you really couldn't make those into movies because they go places that, at least when they were made, you couldn't really put those on screen. So what is it about these types of stories that you think is really an important part of our culture?
Me. Okay, there's an awesome special out there that I saw a while ago. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. The Why Horror special.
Yes.
Yeah, and they touch on that in several different aspects. And the one that I liked the most was, I too am a horror fan, not necessarily the grotesque stuff, but more like a brooding horror along the lines of like the Exorcist show that's on right now. But the thing that kept coming up for people was that it was really a safe place to go through all your worst fears. You could have Jason stalking you, and you could have Michael Myers cornering you into a closet and witness all this horrible gore, and you end up getting to walk out of that theater fine. You can go home and be safe and sound with your family and friends. That made the most sense to me. And Deborah and I were actually talking about that aspect of it today, and pointing out too that it's going through death. I mean, all of us are going to die, hopefully not in the ways that are shown in these films. But it really, we don't really know what's on the other side, and it gives us a chance to really look at this in a safe space. Because I mean, most of it, I don't know, I find that most fans are kind of just quiet and intellectuals, and
What fans do you mean?
Well, most of them. No, but it's the more nerdy, intellectual. That's my experience. There you go. Julie Mics. And Melanie has the mic.
I've got nothing actually.
No? Well, it actually kind of brings us to a great point I wanted to get to. We're going to have to keep an eye on the time. But does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask? I feel like Phil Donahue.
What was it like working with the iconic Dick Warlock?
Well, my only association with Dick was that he was training me. He was a fantastic stunt coordinator, correct? The best in the business from what I hear. So he taught me how to handle the chainsaw. We rehearsed it a lot, we blocked it, and also not to hurt Tom Morga, or he was going to hurt me. So we did a lot of rehearsing, I remember. It was Halloween night, by the way, when we shot that. So the rehearsal was in the afternoon, and we shot it in a very cold Halloween night and did that. And Tom at one point did lean into me and he said, "I know Dick trained you well, don't hurt me here." Because the chainsaw was on, and he knew I wasn't experienced. I don't do stunts, but I had to actually kind of lunge towards him, with the thing buzzing, and reach for his shoulder, try to cut his shoulder.
She did a good job.
I did. Did I hurt you?
No, you were great.
But Dick Warlock was a genius. He made it very easy for a novice to do the job.
Any other questions? Yep.
I asked Mr. Shepard when I met him earlier to describe Danny Steinman in one word. I'd like to ask each of you to do the same.
Generous.
Respectful.
I'd said intense, but I think generous is.
Difficult.
Trusting.
Trusting.
Okay.
Knowledgeable.
The reason I said generous this time because he made each of us, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but for me, he was like, this is your movie. It's like, when you tell an actor like that, it's like, okay, well, wow, that's big responsibility. And he might have said that to everybody, I don't know, but that was very generous because with only 24 words to work with, he's like, you need to own this. Like, wow, okay, he took me seriously, so that was very generous to give me that space. Kudos to him, and he was also intense.
I'll just say something too. That going back to the rumors that you brought up, some of the thing that really bothered me the most about it is that Danny was always just amazingly respectful to me, and he never said anything that was anywhere close to disrespectful or behaved in the way that it's been depicted. That was just all basically fiction. So, but yeah, he was always very respectful.
You know, what was cool for me was when I auditioned and I met Danny and went through my scenes. Before I got the part, he said, "Oh man, I'm gonna love working with you." And nobody said anything yet. I hadn't met the producers yet. And I mean, I left that audition, I'm like, did I get it? I don't know. Nobody, and I'm waiting. And then I got a call back the next day to meet Frank Mancuso Jr. And as I walked in the room, he said to Frank, "Hey, this is the kid I told you about. I'm gonna love working with him." And again, you know, you're like trying to keep your, what's going on. So for me personally, I had the utmost respect for Danny. I was treated great. And with Carol and I, he kind of like left it up to us. Okay, you guys, go at it, and here.
To your heart's content.
And so we bounced off of each other, and I gotta tell you, it was probably the most fun I ever had in my life, even better than Disneyland. I don't know, but truly, very fortunate. I mean, that would be also another word, fortunate.
Awesome. I had another hand back here. Yes.
So the movie sort of takes place in a sort of a halfway house, and I was curious if there was a background story to why every character was there.
I can just say I was innocent.
I didn't play well with others.
Any other inmates? No, that was it.
We know why you were there.
I don't know why I was there. I was just making masks.
Well, okay. Question I need to ask. Anyone here, was Friday the 13th Part 5 by chance your introduction to horror films? Was this anyone's first horror movie? Okay. Yeah? Why was this your first horror movie?
Okay. I'm married to Carol Locatell. It is my birthday. That's why I'm getting up to speak. But I just want to tell you something. They give you a little view of Hollywood and being in the profession. When Carol did this, the first time I saw it, I went, "Put this on your reel." And of course, what did her agent say? "No, you can't put this on your reel. This isn't legit." Right? And I went, "Yeah, it's great. It's great. You got to put it on your reel." I mean, how many times does your wife get killed with an axe in the head? It's perfect. See, that's why we've been together for 44 years. Well,
Does she still make better
everybody
songs?
wait.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, so I know that I asked you this question. The artist Wolfie's Just Fine, the New Beginning music video. Has anyone here not seen it? You have not. Does anyone here not familiar with what I'm talking about? So a lot of you. Well, this gentleman is known. I kind of want to end this with this video because at our last film festival, we did a screening of the best horror-themed music videos. We did things like, obviously, Michael Jackson's Thriller. I'm actually, if you guys want to go ahead and take this moment while I talk, we're going to put you right down here so you can actually watch it without creeping your neck.
Grab your chicken.
Don't forget your chicken. But this made our top 3, and the video is only a year old. So what I want you guys to do when you watch this, I want you to remember what it was like to watch a slasher movie when you were a kid. You remember when the safest place you could be is beneath your blanket. If you could get under your blanket, nothing could get you. Do you remember walking home from your friend's house, looking over your shoulder, because whatever that thing was I saw on TV at my buddy's house, I knew it was behind me. See, to me, that's the magic that is horror films. It can actually create these worlds in your minds that you take home with you. I dug that, though. I'm a weirdo, and apparently I'm amongst other weirdos. God bless you. But I think this guy captured this better than anyone I've ever seen capture it. So know that this was his first horror film, and years later he wrote a song, and they created a music video about it, and the name of this song is A New Beginning. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think there's anything that could possibly capture it better than that. So I just thought it would be apropos to play that. And I'd love to get for just a second, for those of you in the cast who had never seen this before or even knew it existed, you said you'd never seen it before? You've never seen it? I'd love to get your response to this video.
Oh, it's extraordinary. I think it sums up how I used to feel about horror movies when I was a kid. Even when I first saw the movie, I was horrified, and I wasn't 7 years old. So that really pushes all of the buttons that I think make us human in terms of it's that whole thing about fear and facing it. I think you were absolutely correct, and it was a great thing to bring up that documentary, which I definitely want to look at. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, this was wonderful. It really was. I mean, they nailed it. Words cannot express. I mean, we're all kids, and I don't know about you. I remember one of my first horror films was like Frankenstein, and The Mummy really freaked me out. You're older. But these guys were wonderful. I mean, truly, they got the moment. It's just like Jaws. They still have a hard time going in the water.
Well, Deborah, I know that you said that you were very, very familiar with this, but I would love to get your response to watching yourself. It wasn't even a caricature. They were really trying to pay homage to your scene very well. So I'd really love to get your response to that.
Well, first of all, I was incredibly honored by it. If you may not know, but it's Jean LaJoie, who was Taco in the League. And it was a Fox TV show for something like 11 years, and he has a talk about this, and I actually met him in Los Angeles. And it was actually a very traumatic thing for him because he seriously had this crush on me, and then having the murder and all the sins. He was raised in a very strict, Pentecostal family, and so he had a lot of confusion and a lot of upset over it. And he had been planning and wanting to do this for a long time. And yeah, when I first saw it, I was completely blown away. I think it is the making of an amazing horror film. I absolutely love the kid who played in it. He's absolutely brilliant. And that's John's music. It's his lyrics, everything. And so, yeah.
What's ironic is when you listen to his other stuff, he's actually known for being a comedian.
Right.
Very silly, funny, yet poignant songs. I guess it was his family and his friends that begged him, would you please do like one serious record? You're a fantastic musician, you write great lyrics. Stop being so funny, just give us a, and he wrote, the whole album is really brilliant.
Well, he actually, he was doing the comedy because of Taco, and that he was popular for comedy, but this is where his heart is. So it's kind of the opposite.
So, as our representative Jason here, how do you feel that this guy did he get the gait, did he get the walk? Do you think he kind of captured your contributions to this film? How do you feel about it?
First time I saw it, that was great. Really kind of nailed it. You could tell this is what he was thinking and what he did. He got it on film, and it worked.
Yeah.
Jason was great.
All right, well, guys, listen, we have to kind of wrap it up here, but I want to say thank you so much. If you guys wouldn't mind standing up and let these guys say thank you. We want to thank you folks for being here. And by all means, stop by and see them at their booth the rest of the weekend.
We'd all like to say thanks to you, because without you, this wouldn't have happened. We had no idea, and that's the truth. You've heard it before. None of us, I think, had any idea this is going to turn into something where people will actually want to come up to you, call you by your last name like Mr. Morga, and then say thanks for having done the movie. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here doing this. So thanks to you.
And also thank you to all of the fans that asked to see us, who wanted us all here together.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
And look over your shoulder when you're walking.
And your comfort, and the comforter on your bed will not protect you.
Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Turi Delamore, Farron Sutton, and Jeremiah Lambert. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.